You're standing in a stone hall somewhere in 6th century Hispania. The year is 587. Your name is Ermenberger, and you're 16 years old. Tonight you'll learn what marriage means when your husband isn't marrying you, he's purchasing you. This is Visigothic Spain, where Germanic law has fused with Roman tradition to create something neither culture would recognize. Where marriage isn't about love or partnership, it's a transaction, a contract written in gold, witnessed by armed men, and enforced by a legal code that treats women as transferable assets. Welcome to the world of the Morgan Jab, the morning gift, a system so embedded in Visigothic culture. Welcome to the world of the Morgan Jab, the morning gift, a system so embedded in Visigothic culture that it survived longer than the kingdom itself. From Judicum, their comprehensive law code compiled under King Rexuswinth made everything explicit. Marriage was property transfer, wives were assets, and every transaction required documentation. Your father, a minor noble with land near Toledo, signed the betrothal contract 3 months ago. You weren't present. Your consent wasn't required. The law is clear. Fathers control daughters until ownership passes to husbands. The contract specified, priced in pounds of gold, 20 horses, land near Cordoba, and rights to a grain mill. That's your value, calculated precisely, negotiated carefully, recorded permanently. Leo Vigold, your husband to-be, is 42 years old. He's a Kumsa count with military experience and political connections. He needs heirs, he needs alliances, he needs someone young enough to provide both. You've met him twice. Both times, he assessed you the way a merchant evaluates livestock: teeth, posture, family lineage, fertility prospects. His eyes never reached your face. The wedding ceremony itself is surprisingly brief. A priest performs the Christian rites the Visigoths converted from Arianism to Catholicism decades ago under King Record, but the religious elements feel like decoration over something far older. The real ceremony happens afterward, in the presence of witnesses who matter. Nobles, military officers, legal scribes. Leo Vigold presents the Morganja publicly. Not to you, to your father. Gold coins spread across a table. Deeds to property. A written inventory of livestock. 7 men witness the exchange. 3 scribes record every detail. This isn't generosity. This is insurance. If the marriage fails, if you're accused of adultery, if questions arise about inheritance, these documents become evidence. Your father accepts, the witnesses sign. The scribes seal the tablets with wax. And with that, you transfer from one man's household to another's. The law calls this manus the hand of authority. You've simply moved from your father's hand to your husband's. Different grip, same status. The feast follows. Roasted boar, honeyed wine, bread baked with imported spices. Musicians play. Guests toast the union. Everyone congratulates Leo Vigold on his acquisition, and your father on the favorable terms. You sit beside your new husband, silent, watching men celebrate a contract you never negotiated. But here's what separates Visigothic marriage law from Roman tradition. The morning gift has a second purpose. Tomorrow morning, after the marriage is consummated, Leo Vigold will present you with additional property, land, jewelry, specific assets designated as yours. The Morgangab serves as compensation, as security, as acknowledgement that something has been taken and something must be given in return. The Forum Judicum is explicit about this. Book 3, Title 1 details exactly how marriage contracts must function. The bride price goes to the father. The morning gift goes to the wife. If the husband dies, the wife keeps the morning gift. It's her insurance against destitution. If she commits adultery, she forfeits it. If he falsely accuses her, he forfeits additional property to her. Every scenario calculated. Every outcome documented. This isn't cruelty disguised as tradition. This is tradition functioning exactly as designed, a system where women have monetary value, limited legal standing, and carefully defined roles. The Visigoths didn't invent patriarchal marriage. They simply codified it with unprecedented precision. As the feast continues, you notice something. The women of the celebration, wives of other nobles, watch you with expressions you can't quite read. Not pity, not sympathy, something more complex. Recognition, perhaps. They've all been through this. They all survived it. And their presence here tonight serves as proof that survival is possible. The hall grows warmer. The wine flows freely. Leo Vigold's hand rests on your shoulder, possessive, proprietary. The witnesses begin to drift toward the doorway. They know what comes next. Everyone knows. The consummation isn't private in the romantic sense, it's private in the legal sense. Fewer witnesses, but witnesses nonetheless. You are led to the bedchamber by Leo Vigold's sister Guntilda. She's 50 years old, married 3 times, widowed twice. Her role tonight is traditional: to guide the bride, to ensure the proper rituals are observed, to verify what must be verified. She doesn't speak to you. She doesn't need to. Her hands are firm but not rough as she helps you undress. As she checks the prepared bed, as she positions the witnesses, 2 noble women and 1 female servant, just outside the doorway. The room is smaller than you expected. A single large bed, heavy wooden furniture, oil lamps casting amber light across stone walls. There's a basin of water, folded linens, and on a small table, a sealed document. Your morning gift contract. Waiting, Leo Vigold enters. The door closes but doesn't latch. You hear the women outside, their quiet breathing, their careful stillness. They're close enough to hear everything. That's the point. Visigothic law requires witnesses to confirm consummation. Not for romance, for legitimacy, for inheritance law, for proof that heirs belong to the husband. What happens next is swift and impersonal. Leovigild is efficient, a military man approaching a required duty. There's no violence, but there's no tenderness either. He knows the law, he knows the expectations. He fulfills his obligation with the same precision he'd use reviewing troop deployments. When it's finished, he stands, dresses, and leaves briefly. The women enter immediately. Guntilda examines the bed linens with practiced efficiency. The servant brings fresh water. The noblewomen observe silently, their presence transforming an intimate moment into a legal proceeding. They're not here to judge or comfort. They're here to witness, to testify, if necessary, that the marriage was consummated according to law. Guntilda nods once confirmation. The women withdraw. You're left alone, cleaned, changed, lying in bed while voices murmur outside. They're confirming details, ensuring everyone agrees on what they observed. By morning, their testimony will be recorded. Another document, another seal, another piece of evidence in your permanent archive. Sleep doesn't come easily. Your mind replays the evening, the contracts, the gold, the witnesses, the cold efficiency of it all. Somewhere in the compound, scribes are still awake, recording the day's events. Your marriage is becoming documentation. Your life is becoming property law. Dawn arrives slowly. Gray light filters through narrow windows. You dress carefully, aware that appearance matters. A servant escorts you to a private room where Leovigild waits with Guntilda, two witnesses, and a scribe. On the table between you sits the sealed document from last night. Leovigild breaks the seal. His voice is formal as he reads aloud. A vineyard near Merida, 3 tenant farms, jewelry including a gold fibula and garnets, rights to specific tax revenues, the morning gift, your compensation, your security. He signs, the witnesses sign. The scribe records everything in duplicate. Then Leovigild hands you a small wooden box. Inside, the gold fibula, proof of ownership, symbol of status, portable wealth you can claim as yours. This is yours, he says, not affectionately, legally. The law protects your right to these properties. Should I die, they remain yours. Should I attempt to reclaim them, you may appeal to the king's court. He's not being generous. He's following the Forum Judicum Book 3, Title 1, Section 2. Let the husband give to his wife a morning gift, and let this donation be confirmed by witnesses in writing. The law protects you, not out of compassion, but out of legal necessity. Widows with property don't become burdens on their families. Women with assets have stakes in their marriages. The system functions because it's structured. Guntilda dismisses the witnesses. The scribe seals the documents. You're now a married woman with documented property rights, limited rights, conditional rights, but rights nonetheless. Medieval historians examining the Forum Judicum note that Visigothic women had more legal standing than their counterparts in some other Germanic kingdoms. They could own property, inherit under certain conditions, and testify in legal proceedings. The system was patriarchal, but it wasn't absolute. The morning meal is formal. Other household members join Leovigild's adult children from his first marriage, retainers, servants. You sit beside him wearing the fibula, embodying your new role. Conversation flows around you. Politics, land disputes, military matters. You listen carefully. Understanding power dynamics is crucial to survival in this world. Over the following weeks you learn the patterns. Leovigild manages estates, attends court, commands local military forces. You manage the household, supervise servants, maintain social connections with other noble families. Your interactions with your husband are cordial but distant. He's purchased a wife. You've been sold into marriage. The transaction is complete. Now you both fulfill your respective roles. But here's what the law codes never fully capture: how women navigated this system. Letters surviving from Visigothic Spain reveal women who managed properties shrewdly, who negotiated with merchants, who built networks of influence through carefully maintained relationships. The Morgenjab gave them leverage. Property ownership meant autonomy, however limited. Widowhood sometimes meant freedom. You're not powerless. You're constrained. There's a difference. The gold fibula you wear isn't just decoration. It's portable wealth, legal proof, potential escape. Should Leovigild die, should political fortunes shift, should circumstances demand it, that fibula represents options, limited options, but options nonetheless. Months pass. You learn to manage your household efficiently. You build relationships with other noble wives, discovering that they've developed quiet strategies for navigating their marriages. Some have significant influence over their husband's decisions. Others have carved out independent spheres of authority. All have learned to work within the system while subtly testing its boundaries. Pregnancy comes eventually. It's expected, required. Producing heirs is your primary duty. But pregnancy also brings increased status. A wife carrying potential heirs has value beyond the initial bride price. The household dynamics shift subtly. Leovigild becomes more attentive, not affectionate, but watchful. The child you're carrying represents continuity, inheritance, legitimacy. Your son is born in late autumn. The estate celebrates. Leo Vigil presents you with additional gifts not legally required, but strategically smart. A satisfied wife is less likely to cause difficulties. A wife with resources has reasons to support her husband's interests. The system functions because it aligns incentives. As years pass, you become what the Visigoths call a demeanor lady of the household. You manage extensive properties, negotiate with merchants, settle disputes among servants. Your opinion carries weight in family decisions. Leo Vigil consults you on matters affecting the estate, not because he loves you. Love was never part of the contract, but because you've proven competent, reliable, useful. This is how Visigothic marriage actually functioned for many women, not as a romantic partnership, not as constant oppression, as structured transaction that, over time, could evolve into pragmatic collaboration. The morning gift you received 16 years ago has appreciated. You've acquired additional properties through careful management. Should Leo Vigil die tomorrow, you'd be a wealthy widow with significant autonomy. The system that bought you as a 16-year-old girl has, paradoxically, given you more power than you would have had remaining in your father's household. Limited power, conditional power, but power nonetheless. When historians examine Visigothic marriage law today, they recognize its complexity. Yes, it treated women as property. Yes, it denied them full agency. But it also provided legal protections, economic security, and pathways to influence that were absent in some other medieval societies. The forum judicum wasn't progressive, it was pragmatic. And pragmatism in the brutal mathematics of early medieval Europe sometimes meant survival. You're 42 now, the same age Leo Vigil was when he purchased you. Your eldest son manages half the estate. Your daughters are negotiating their own marriage contracts, better terms than you received, because you've learned how the system works and you're advising their fathers-in-law carefully. The gold you were bought with has multiplied. The bride price has paid dividends. Is this justice? No. Is this freedom? Hardly. Is this survival, adaptation, and the quiet resistance of lasting longer than the system expects? Absolutely. The Visigothic bride price wasn't romantic, it was transactional, and some women learned to work the transaction in their favor. The kingdom would fall to Muslim conquest in 711. The legal codes would be replaced, but the documents would survive: contracts, property transfers, mourning gift agreements, silent testimony to a system where marriage was merchandise, where women were assets, and where some of those assets learned to calculate their own worth.